It's a truth universally acknowledged, but a football team in pursuit of a trophy needs all players to perform at their best. But amongst every team, there's one player so ferocious, so combative, so psychologically twisted that surely they were dropped on the head as a baby. That player is the team's goalkeeper, and they're the heart of any defense wanting to win a championship. Here's my evaluation of the goalies we'll see competing for the NWSL Championship this Friday and Saturday. The first matchup will see Anna Moorhouse of the Orlando Pride go up against Alyssa Naeher of the Chicago Red Stars. This is only a David versus Goliath battle when it comes to name recognition. Anna Moorhouse led the leagues in goals against, she had the fewest conceded at 20, and she also led the league in clean sheets with 13. On the other side of things, Alyssa Naeher has had the winningest season possible. She's a Gold Cup champion, she's an Olympic champion, and she was nominated for a Ballon d'Or. They're both excellent top quality keepers. They're just very different in how they approach the game. If we start digging into Moorhouse, part of the reason that she has such excellent stats when it comes to clean sheets, goals against, she's playing behind a very good defense that are very willing to get in the way, block the ball, and we're really looking to prevent the ball getting to Moorhouse in the first instance. The saves you'll find Moorhouse making have a habit of looking a bit awkward, but this one, if you go back and watch it again, you're going to see the ball bounces just where she goes down to catch it. It's an incredibly quick reaction save, and generally, she's very good with her lower body, very reactive, very quick to come out. She just makes good reads. And because of that, it's not too uncommon to find her cutting out these plays, winning in terms of her positioning, and she takes chances that should look very threatening and just neutralizes them and makes them look meaningless. On the other hand, Alyssa Naeher has won the NWSL Save of the Week 3 times, more than any other goalkeeper, because she makes such acrobatic and athletic saves. All of these look so similar to me in the way that she's just really getting up there, reaching out, and just making a show-stopping save. Naeher is also much more active when it comes to trying to prevent crosses and punch these out, but we've seen a few times this season where she's not able to get enough distance or not really use the right technique when clearing these balls out, and it's resulted in second chance opportunities that have gone into the net. This example, she does get better distance on it. It was a little bit unlucky, the classic football term, but we're going to see some examples a little bit later down the line. You'll see just how far out of the box some of these keepers are able to push the ball. Another thing to watch out for on Friday, Naeher sometimes struggles with the timing of these moments where she wants to come out, close down the striker, and try and make a stop away from the goal line. And look, I'm not saying she can't do it at all. She has made some really good saves this year coming out to meet the striker, but it's definitely something that she has struggled with over the years. The way Orlando's been playing this season, it's been pretty hard to find flaws in Anna Moorhouse's game, but I do think if there's anything on film, it's been put on film recently. But even with the recent goals against, when I look at the film, I'm not 100% sure how many NWSL goalkeepers would have saved these balls. This one was an incredibly smart shot by Christine Sinclair to cut against momentum right at the point when the ball would have been screened. This one from Ella Stevens is a straight up headshot, the most difficult shot to save in football, and also particularly brutal, so congratulations Ella Stevens. This one I broke down a few weeks ago on another video, and at the time I said, I think this is completely on the defense. I'm not sure there's anything Moorhouse could do. Looking at it again, what I can see visually, I still agree with my initial assessment. I think the defense should have stepped back there, but I started noticing a couple trends of this sort of issue in front of net, and I'm starting to think it might be a communication error. It's kind of hard to tell what should have been happening, who should have done what, but when I'm seeing it multiple times, it leads me to think maybe communication is part of the issue. When I compare those clips with this one from Alyssa Naeher, I feel like you can just visually see her communicating. I can't hear it, but I know based on what I'm seeing that she is commanding that defense. And that's the reason that I think Alyssa Naeher is going to show up more out of these two goalies. She's just as capable of leaving opposition strikers absolutely stunned. On Saturday, we'll get to see the matchup of Casey Murphy and Almuth Schult. Schult's been a really interesting story for the NWSL. She played no football last year because she is a multi-talented woman, came over from Germany after just one appearance in the NWSL with Angel City in 2022, and she's played in 9 matches and kept 5 clean sheets. She's looked absolutely phenomenal. What comes across on film is a player with no fear, She is very confident in her positioning, and because of that, she's never second-guessing, never making adjustments that would put her in a worse spot. She's made fantastic reaction saves on a lot of the league's best players, and she's really looked like the missing piece in Kansas City's potentially championship-winning team. And that's because Schult brings a lot more than just shot stopping to the table. This punch-out on the cross clear is monstrous, and this is just what I was saying earlier about getting good distance on those. It's something Schult has done consistently, albeit across the limited games she's been in, but it's really helped Kansas City because their game is so transitional, and it means they're not spending so much time sitting in a really compact defense that they don't want to be in. And distribution is another strong area for Schult that plays into the kind of game that Kansas City wants to play. This one is just a hair off, but I would love to see a goalie assist to Chawinga during the playoffs. Schult's just comfortable on her feet. It's not an issue for her at all, depending on if she's going to be asked to do short passes or long distributions. So where is she struggling? Well, it's hard to say. I'm going to ignore the first 2 goals that she allowed because they came in her very first start. So since then, she's only allowed 3 goals. This one was kind of weird. If you go back, you can see the ref runs into Michelle Cooper. The defense all kind of slows down and they never really get fully reset. So this one actually ends up being an own goal. I'm not going to put that on Schult. This one, defense needs to be more organized, and maybe some of that comes back to communication on the keeper, being a bit more assertive around getting them to reorganize quicker. But I don't really think she could have done much about that. This one, simply one of the world's best shots. I don't know how many people are going to save something with that much bend and dip on it. It's just absolutely beautiful and majestic, and I think you just got to move on and hope for better on the next one. This is really the only goal allowed where I think she had a chance, and ultimately, that quality is why she is so frustrating to play against. Moving on to Casey Murphy, recognized this year for playing 100 NWSL matches, which surely will help with game recognition in the championship. The first thing that comes to mind when I watch her play is cat-like reflexes. I think she's doing her best impression of the Courage logo, Panther, whatever it is, because she's really good at these saves that are low and reactive. I don't think you see her coming out of the net as much as some other keepers would because she doesn't really need to, but if she does, she has a nice technical way of touching that back up, keeping an eye on the play and maintaining her positioning. It's just good reflexes when you boil it down to the most basic level. So what's it going to take to score on Casey Murphy during these playoffs? Well, I'd argue a heck of a lot of luck. This one is kind of screened. This one, I think the defense loses their positioning a bit, but she still almost had it. This one, there's some torrential downpour and it's Chawinga, so it's a double bad situation. She still gets incredibly close there. And this one, again, just an excellent technical strike, very difficult for any goalie. But here's the thing, if it comes down to it, who am I picking? Well, I've only got one goalie on film shoving another team's players, and ultimately, I gotta go for the shover. There's my choices, Naeher and Schult. Not necessarily sure their teams are gonna win, but I feel confident that those goalies are gonna outperform, give their team the edge, and just look more competitive in net. Maybe you saw something completely different on film this season. If you did, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe you're a Kingsbury fan or a Burger fan. If you are, you may have to twist my arm a little bit and see if we can get another video out before those matchups on Sunday. All right, thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. Stay safe, stay happy, and I will see you soon.